Well, hello, everybody. Good evening to you all. It is nighttime, and we're not starting early in the morning. So, hello. Hey, y'all. How you doing? It is good to see you all here. Let me take care of something right quick. I made a promise, and I'm going to keep it right now. So, let's do that. You may get a little feedback here when I click on our live stream, and if so, I'm sorry. I'm going to click on it just for a second. Here we go. Live stream. There it is. So let me go back here now. And there we go. So how is everybody tonight? Back here, I can see the chat now. Let's have a normal night. How about it? You guys ready for that? I did have fun with my name. I couldn't help myself. My chat name is Baldy. So, or my screen name, my avatar is Baldy. I kind of like it. I didn't know whether to go with Baldy or Humpback, but we're going to have fun with it. And I understand earlier in the live that I missed a ton of you guys commenting, and I'm sorry. I'm going to look out for that more in the chat. That was an unscheduled thing, and I wanted to. Did I say badly or baldly? Yeah, Baldy. Yeah, but I wanted to, come face to face with somebody, and didn't work out. So all they wanted to do was come in and porn bomb. So show some true colors. We've seen some true colors all day. Let's get on with the trial. Are you guys ready to see the trial? Throw one up, chat, if you're ready to get into this trial from the beginning, like you guys wanted. Every single bit of it. And we're going to give a book away tonight too. I'm going to give a book away. All right, lots of ones. Let's do this. Let's do the trial. Can everybody hear me fine? Is that good tonight? Like, I'm using this new computer. Hopefully I don't have anything plugged in. Hopefully the battery lasts. I'm trying not to plug anything in and see if that was the issue. That is Judge Kent Hendrickson on the bench, and he is the presiding judge. He was the second judge. The other judge was either retired or lost the election. And this judge was the sitting judge, and I'm pretty sure he's still the sitting judge in Harlan County. So that's who he is. He covered. Okay, thank you, Chaotic Beauty and Crime. He covers. He was the judge pretty much throughout the trial. Right quick now, I did call the Harlan County prosecutor today on on a live stream and talked to the secretary, and she told me she would have him call me back. It'd probably be tomorrow. He actually called me back today. I talked to him for about 10 minutes. It's on my phone. I didn't record the call because I wasn't ready for it. Yes, thank you, Sean. He is still the circuit court judge. Anyway, I was informed of some pretty nice things from the prosecuting attorney and the Commonwealth attorney, that is, and he sounded a bit frustrated at the end of the phone call, but nevertheless, he told me what I needed to hear, what I was looking for, and I'm going to try to go there tomorrow and get what I can get. So there is that. And no, you got to babysit early. We probably won't be this won't be a big long live, I don't think. We're just going to cover some things and take care of some business. Like we said, we're going to cover the trial, beginning to end. And here we go. Let's get started. Let me mute myself. Then I'll come back to the chat.
All right, we're on the record now. We're on the record in a Harlan Circuit Court case, Commonwealth of Kentucky versus Shelby L. Shell. Harlan action number 13 CR 00076. We're here on a change of venue. I'm Kent Hendrickson. I'm the circuit judge in Harlan County, and today we're going to pick a jury for this trial. I don't see any familiar faces out there. I often do in Harlan, but I appreciate you all being here this morning. We can't do this without a jury. It's just impossible otherwise. Now, do any of you have cell phones? Would you please turn them off, please? I would appreciate that.
Well, they had to drive some people crazy.
And I appreciate you not communicating while we're picking the jury with anyone in any fashion. Now, is the Commonwealth ready to proceed with jury selection?
We are, Your Honor.
Is the defense ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
The elder man
Okay,
there is Ross, Commonwealth attorney.
I don't know if any of you sat on a trial in a trial before, been a juror in a trial before, but this part of the proceedings is called legally it's called voir dire, which is a Latin for something I don't even understand, but it means questioning. You're going to be asked questions, some by me and then some by the attorneys, to determine whether you're qualified to sit as a juror. And by that, it doesn't mean that you're not a good person. The idea is to pick a fair and impartial jury that will guarantee the defendant a fair trial. That's the whole purpose of it. And so please don't be offended by any questions that might be asked, because that's the whole purpose of it, and it's very important.
Yes, Miss Lee, it is the same attorney.
Now, if you need to respond to any of the questions that are presented to you, please raise your hands, and you'll be acknowledged, and you'll approach the bench and come up here where we can discuss your concerns or your response in private and outside the hearing of the rest of the jury pool. It's important that we do that so that the rest of the jury pool doesn't hear information you might have or information you might know about this case. Now, at this point, I'm going to ask you all to raise your right hand, please. Now, do each of you swear or affirm that you will make true and correct answers to the questions asked of you pertaining to your qualifications to sit as a juror in this case? Do you?
Yes, I do.
I hear no nays, so thank you. All right. At this point, I'll acquaint you with the case by reading the indictment, and this is.
Before he reads the indictment, I want to give a heads up to the mods. We're going to do no nonsense tonight. If somebody comes in trolling, saying anything about my family or basically anything other than the trial, if it doesn't pertain to the trial and you think it's negative, you have my complete backing on kicking them out. You don't even have to put them in timeout. If you don't mind, if you ban somebody or block somebody, just jot down the name or something and send it to me so I can give them another opportunity to come back. But while we're doing this, this is what we're trying to do. I don't want to get in a shouting match with anybody tonight. I want to cover the trial. People can be respectful. They can ask questions about the trial, and we will do that and that only. So until we get to the book stuff and the questions, and pay attention. The questions, I haven't picked them out yet, may involve the trial. So, but I will only do what we've covered. So, you guys, and I appreciate you guys being so supportive and taking care of me. Without my mods and my friends, I wouldn't even be here on YouTube. So we'll get back to the trial now.
Again, a Harlan Circuit Court case. Count 1, the grand jury, Harlan County grand jury charged as follows. That on or about February 17, 2013 in Harlan County, Kentucky, the defendant committed the offense of murder, a capital offense. To wit, the defendant, with intent to cause the death of another person, caused the death of Ronnie King by shooting him or by some other means. Count 2. That on or about the 17th of February, 2013 in Harlan County, Kentucky, the defendant committed the offense of tampering with physical evidence. To wit, the defendant, believing that an official proceeding was pending or might be instituted, destroyed, mutilated, concealed, or removed or altered physical evidence which he believed was about to be produced or used in an official proceeding with intent to impair its verity or availability in the official proceeding by concealing or destroying or mutilating or removing or altering physical evidence from the crime scene. Count 3. That on or about February 17, 2013 in Harlan County, Kentucky, the defendant committed the offense of robbery in the first degree, a Class B felony. To wit, the defendant, in the course of committing theft, used or threatened the immediate use of physical force upon another, Ronnie King, with intent to accomplish the theft, while armed with a deadly weapon or having caused physical injury to a person not a participant in the crime in Harlan County, Kentucky. Count 4. That on or about the 17th day of February 2013 in Harlan County, Kentucky, the defendant committed the offense of kidnapping, a capital offense. To wit, the defendant unlawfully restrained another person to accomplish or advance the completion of a felony or to inflict bodily injury or to terrorize the victim or another. Count 4. That on or about February 17, 2013 in Harlan County, Kentucky, the defendant committed the offense of burglary in the first degree, a Class B felony. To wit, the defendant, with intent to commit a crime, knowingly entered or remained unlawfully in a dwelling, said dwelling being the home of Ronnie King, and while in the building, the defendant was armed with a deadly weapon or caused physical injury to a person who was not a participant in the crime. Count 6. That on or about February 17, 2013 in Harlan County, Kentucky, the defendant committed the offense of arson in the second degree, a Class B felony. To wit, the defendant started a fire with the intent to destroy or damage a building of another, all against the peace and dignity of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. That is what the defendant is charged with. That's what the grand jury charged him with. Now, that is an allegation. That is a charge. That is not proof of guilt of anything. At this point in time, the defendant is presumed innocent of these charges as a matter of law. And he is innocent until the Commonwealth proves him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. So, I repeat, that's an allegation by the grand jury. An allegation sufficient to bring him to trial. That's all. Now, in criminal cases, if you haven't been a juror in one, there's two phases. I need to explain just briefly what those are. It's called these are bifurcated proceedings. The first phase is the proof phase, or the so-called guilt phase. That's whether or not a jury finds or is given the opportunity to find whether or not the Commonwealth has proved guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. If so, and that is a one or more or any of the charges. If so, then there's a penalty phase, and you will be given additional evidence during that phase and additional instructions during that phase on what penalty you would apply if you have found him guilty of one or more of the charges in the indictment. During that, by the way, the penalties, I should say, will range from, if you have found him guilty of any of these charges, from a low of 1 year in prison to a high penalty of the highest would be life in prison without the possibility of parole. That's the range of the penalties possible in this case. Also, during the penalty phase, the defendant may want to offer evidence on his own behalf in mitigation. Then that means evidence that for you to consider in setting a penalty, evidence that may persuade you to impose a lesser penalty than you might without that information, that additional information. I'm going to ask you generally right now, a general question: if such evidence is offered to you, can each of you take that into consideration in setting a penalty? Can any of you not take that into consideration? Would you not? I see no hands. You'll be asked more questions by the lawyers about these issues in more detail, but I just want to kind of frame what we're doing at this moment. Now, at this time, I want to give you a general admonition, because we will take breaks from time to time, and when we do, don't discuss any of this among yourselves or anyone else, and don't discuss any questions that may be asked during this period known as voir dire. Just don't discuss it, and we want to make sure this trial goes well and fairly, and that would be a big help. But we will take breaks. We want to make you as comfortable as possible while this goes on. Now, let's see. Before we go further, I want counsel to approach, please. Could you?
I'm not sure. I don't think that video coming up is the video that we need. So let me
stream live TV from 85 plus channels.
We'll watch the ad anyway. Oh goodness. Another call from no caller ID at 10:20 at night. Can you imagine? how bad some people want to talk to me tonight. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? While this is going on, let me thank Miss Lee. I appreciate that for joining. Um, and all you members, like it's growing pretty fast. I appreciate it so much. You want to get a hold of me, country girl? Email me at coachjimboc@gmail.com. Sorry, I hit the wrong one. Yeah, that's the right one. Email me there, and I appreciate it. Oh, of course they are. Of course they are. That's okay. Let them stream it, Serena. They need it. They need the content. So, hello, Jamie. How are you, buddy? Oh, God bless you, son. God bless you, King of the Streets. God bless you. I hope you're doing well. I'm done screaming back and forth with you. And all I got to say to you is God bless you. Great. Can email you, Coach Jimbo. Thank you. Oh, somebody's calling me again. I'll just deny it. I'll just send them the voicemail and they can leave me a death threat. How's that? Is that okay with you, buddy? See, we're gonna do this trial tonight, like I promised, and just let them go. Let them go at it. Thank you, Barbara. I appreciate that, Barbie. I'm sorry. I appreciate that. And I'm not perfect. I sin every day. Every day of my life, I sin. I have not intentionally been dishonest about anything. I didn't remember those phone calls. To be honest with you, I knew he called, and I eventually blocked him. I don't remember what I was saying. I did make that statement. I haven't talked to Shelby since the day I recorded him. Okay, he called me from jail. I talked to him. Honestly, it is what it is. You saw. I told him I wasn't going to lie for him, and he kept trying to imply otherwise. But we're gonna keep. I already told him, Jersey Boom. I already told him we're gonna cover the trial. I don't think they can go back and watch. I've explained it. Look for the live stream in that I've got posted. That's got the actual call log. Like it probably is the picture of the live stream, the thumbnail. Watch it, and it explains the call log and how they lied about it. And Tommy Larson, that's between God and myself. I'm going to pray about it tonight and ask him to forgive me for my sins. So, but that's between myself and God. I would tell you, but I don't see how it's any of your business. Okay. Uh-oh, what is that? Something sexual, something what? I don't think so. Is that no, it's Forensic Factor. Okay. That's not my video. So let me find the next video from our YouTube, my YouTube. Another phone call. Well, somebody tell them to quit calling me. I know somebody knows who it is. Just tell them to quit calling me. I don't want to talk to them right now. I'm busy with good people over here, with good people who watching this fresh content. Even though it's the only content I've got, right, Jamie? I don't have any other videos. Well, you haven't been paying attention, old bud. But anyway, goodness gracious, I thought somebody told me that those didn't play in order if you didn't make a playlist. And you know what, dadgummit, they were right. So let me go and try to fix this. And I'm missing the chat. I'm sorry. Please, if somebody, if I missed something, Tommy can't forgive you. Just saying, that's okay. That's right. Yeah, that's right. He can't forgive me. He can forgive me, but not for the sins that I've committed. Like if I committed something against Tommy, then it's playing the trial here. What is that? No, that's the same one we just watched. Okay, I'm going to go back to my videos again. I'm so sorry, and I've told you guys many times I'm a YouTube rookie, and Caller ID, no caller ID. Whoever you are, if you will unblock your number, I will answer the phone for you. Until then, I'm not going to. So thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go back. All right, uploaded videos 5 days ago, 6 days ago. Here we go. Here's the next video that I've got uploaded. And bear with me. Oh, actually, that's a little further back. Oh, what you got? Oh, no, they're not in order. Oh, no. I know that one was the first one. Okay. This may be the second one. Let's hope it is. Here we go. You guys ready?
Or to your questions about sexual abuse, repeat them. Tell me what they were.
Have you or anybody you know ever been charged with or convicted of a sex crime, or have you or anybody you know ever been a victim of a sex crime?
Okay, he's not charged with sex crime, is he?
No, it's part of the mitigation discussion.
I know what you told me about mitigation now. As far as being a victim, where does that get you?
Well, I think
I don't want somebody to get to the mitigation stage.
Come here, you go.
Okay. What we don't want is for a juror to get through this trial, get to the mitigation stage, hear what we intend to present about childhood sexual abuse in the mitigation stage for Shelby Shell, and break down because it triggers their past abuse.
Well, you, as I understand it, you would be the mitigation evidence that you want to offer would portray or tend to prove that Mr. Shell is a victim himself. Is that correct?
Yes.
It seemed to me that you would be seeking to ferret out the people who would be most sympathetic to him, and ferret out the people that the prosecution might want to strike.
That's true.
It doesn't make sense. To
It's complicated, but it really is. There are some people who are not going to be able to sit through that. They're going to get mad at us for bringing it up, for causing them pain during that portion of this hearing.
Can I respond real quick to the counter side of that, which is false allegations occur all the time. And when we had a trial in the past, there were more jurors who had family members charged with crimes who they believed to be innocent, and they didn't believe that evidence. They didn't believe that someone would do it.
That the trial you're referring to, the defendant was in fact charged with multiple.
And so what we could have is a situation where, because they had a family member that was falsely accused, they don't believe that type of mitigation evidence, and they're not able to understand it or comprehend it.
I'll
So
tell you
there's
what,
always a flip side.
I've thought about this a lot since we were in Harlan on this. Number one, I'm going to ask a general question about pretrial publicity, and everyone's heard about this, they're going to come up here. Second, I'm not
Miss Lee, I was none of the witnesses were allowed inside the courtroom during any of this. No, we weren't there.
Like I say, you're going to tend to ferret out people the prosecution want to strike. I don't think that's my view of it. That it would be that people who have had experiences with that would be more sympathetic to your client.
Even if we don't ask on individual voir dire, we're still going to want to ask if people can consider that as a mitigating factor.
I'll let you do that. Yeah. Okay.
And
Otherwise,
if those people may want to approach, because it may be because they are thinking of themselves as a victim, and I don't want them to have to share that with the whole
just
jury.
keep it at that. You say, can you consider that as a mitigating factor? And if they have a problem with that, we can come up here and discuss it. Otherwise, when we get into details about mitigation, like we mentioned, we went over this in court Tuesday. Keep it fairly general, not too detailed. Just subject matter questions. All right. So we're not going to have individual voir dire. I'm going to ask a general question.
We might be limited on individual voir dire, considering the
One reason I went with the sexual abuse questions in Harlan was because we were going to do it on publicity anyway, and we were going to be back there anyway. So, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought that it's going to probably hurt your client more than help him.
To Will's part of the response, it turns out that there are a lot of people who had claims that didn't become criminal cases that will
that's a little
disclose that, and
speculative.
that's
That's it. So
As long as we get to talk about it in
you will.
our questions.
You will.
as
All
long as
right.
the question can be asked for good.
And I think, a lot of the witnesses and same things that we normally would talk about.
Yes.
won't apply here because that's with change of venue, they won't be known. But
Well, after we went through Dr. Rolf's deposition, I saw almost nothing in there about sexual abuse or homosexuality or things like that.
Right.
Very little.
Yeah.
And I've seen very little so far in this case.
Your Honor, while we're up here,
Mhm.
I was going to make an objection based on the Commonwealth's law to your script the last time we did it. They mentioned a CSI standard or an NCIS standard of proof.
Mhm.
I would object to the Commonwealth talking about that. Basically,
Don't say, please don't say standard of proof. Just say, do you expect that kind of evidence, that kind of technical.
Tommy, you like I don't mind you asking questions, but this is obviously the questions you're asking are, I want to say facetious, or you know, come on, man. Like, don't be disruptive just to be disruptive. Like, people are here for a reason. They want to see this. And if that's an honest question, okay. But like, how many questions have been put in the chat already? Is that Shelby? Is that Shelby in the white shirt? Were you there? Come on, man. Yeah, I know. Who knows? That's what I'm saying. Like, quit trying to be annoying, and and we'll let you stay. And the phone calls I'm getting, they're just hanging up. They're just trying to interrupt. And I just wonder why. Like, why don't they want you to see this? Makes no sense to me. Anyway, I'm going to go back. Let me see if this makes it any better. If I can do it in YouTube. No, it's full screen in YouTube as well. I don't know. Does that make it any better? Did that help any? Put a 1 in the chat if that made it bigger for you guys. If you can see that better now, put a 1 in the chat. If it didn't help, I'm going to put it back because it's and I'll have to at the end anyway. Okay, that made it better. Okay, so let's go ahead, and there's a couple minutes left in this particular video. I'm going to mute and finish out this video. Okay.
Logical evidence. That's the issue.
Yes.
I know what you were getting at, but I remember that brief moment. Okay.
thank you.
All right.
One last matter is,
Yes, ma'am.
we have a defense investigator that's going to sit at trial table as our designated investigator person,
Mhm.
and not
She's
separated.
very
She may testify later. We
Mhm.
also have a mitigation specialist, and I was going to ask permission of the court and come up to let her sit at the council table when she gets here, mostly to keep our client engaged with one of those two support people. But they
Any
also may
objections?
testify. And I
that's
realize
up to the court.
I don't have a problem with that.
We intend to have our case officer
Right,
who is retired. And there's another case officer that will be bringing the evidence in, and with the chain of custody,
Mhm.
has all the evidence. So, we'll have,
Okay. Now, will we invoking the rule?
right. That's the concern, is that if there's an
But the
exception to the
mitigation,
rule
you're
for the
talking about-
investigator. The
Is she going to
mitigation
testify
specialist would testify in sentencing.
in sentencing?
So we would
And-
like to have an exception to the rule just for her.
And the mitigation specialist will be testifying in sentencing. I don't have a problem with that.
no,
All right.
no objection.
We'll do
Thank
that.
you.
Let's see if it goes to the next video. I think it might have said it's actually going to a Ziggy video. If it does, we'll switch. But anybody got any questions on what we've seen so far? I know it's not been a whole lot yet, But we're going to cover every single bit of it. And you know, even though we're being interrupted, and I put my phone on silent. Yeah, it's just people prank calling from, you know, their star 67 it before they call, and then they hang up. You know, but you know, maybe I should just scream and cuss. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just kidding, guys. That's not me. It's not me. Yeah, thank you. It's really like fascinating to me too. Like you see the whole thing unfolding. Do you read comments at the bottom of the video? What are you talking about? Hello, Bama's Truth Seeker. Yep, that's a Ziggy video. Let me go back and find our video. Not that I don't want to show my friend Ziggy's video, but we're covering the trial tonight. And you guys, if you want to, go subscribe to Ziggy. Go subscribe to Jamie. Whoever you want to subscribe to and watch their videos, go check them out. That's what it's for. That's what YouTube's for, right? For videos, for people to watch. So go check those out. You can see there's a bunch of videos for me to have to look through. Okay, and this one's not as long, so we will get right into it and see what it is. It's probably not much, but we are going to cover it all. So here we go.
All right, if you go ahead and call the 32 that we'll begin with. First of all, before we get started, let me introduce counsel. For the Commonwealth, this is Harlan County Commonwealth's attorney, Parker Boggs. And for the defense, we have Mr. Will Sodelman from the Harlan DPA office, and also from the DPA, Laura Karen. Very good. Okay. Now, Madam Clerk, if you will go ahead and seat the first 32 numbered.
Your Honor, may we approach briefly?
Okay, let me. Oh man, that video's going on. Hang on a second. Let me back it up. Pause it, and I'll unmute it, and I will full screen it. Now, let me check, see what I've missed here before we get on to this video. It's cut. This is 2 or 3 minutes long, I think. It may say down there, like, yeah, 3:35. So, somebody said something about the book. Barbara Buffalo, you have not missed the questions about the book yet. You have not missed those. We have not done that yet, so we are going to do that here in a little while. To buy the book, let me see. I will run that banner. It's let me see. There you go. I'll leave that up there for just a second until we get ready to start this video. If you need it later, screenshot that. If you need it later, I will do it again. I need to put that up in the YouTube community. I don't know. I got to check the terms of service to make sure that's okay. I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. How does Matt come to play in all this? He doesn't. Matt has no clue. Matt's, from the outside looking in, forming his opinion. Matt would tell me on the phone, I know Ernie did it. I know Ernie did it. Okay, Matt. What evidence do you have to show me that I can put on there other than Matt says Ernie did it? And there wasn't nothing. Oh, it's just a gut feeling. Okay, well, we can't. You can say that's your opinion. My opinion is that Ernie knows more than what he's saying. But yeah, Matt wasn't involved or around. He don't know. He don't know anything about this trial. Yeah, he doesn't fall into it at all. So without further ado, let me take down that banner so you guys can see it. And I could leave it up, but let me see what it looks like when I make the screen. Did I make the screen full already? Yes, I did. All right, I'll let you guys. Can you see that? Like, is it going to affect? Is it going to distract from you if I leave that up through this video? If so, I'm going to take it down. So if you think it'll be distracting, throw a 1 up. If there's if there's even one single one, I'm going to take it down and we'll put it up later. If that's going to be distracting to you through this video here, let me know. And you don't have to worry. Like, I'm not. If it's distracting, it's distracting. So, you're not going to hurt my feelings by saying so. Oh, and Tommy Larson with a 2, of course. I bet you were the class clown, weren't you, Tommy? Who knows? Put up a emoji and I can't see it. Display the videos. Okay. All right. Let me take this comment. Let me take this banner down. And no big deal whatsoever. So there you go. All right. Let's get back to the trial here. I'm going to mute myself and play the attorneys and this is actually a bench conference. It says right there on the top. So, and the bench conferences to me are kind of interesting. Take it down till we know if it's against YouTube. Oh, it's not against YouTube for me to flash it on during the thing. I just don't know if I'm allowed to put it on the community page and advertise selling something. But yeah, hit that like button, guys, please. I'm going to go hit it here in a second myself. But here we go. We're going to play this bench conference. And like I said, the bench conferences to me are kind of fun because you always sit and wonder, like, what are they saying? Well, now you know. Now you know how they go. And every time, I'm going to go ahead and let you know, when you hear the attorney say, "Your Honor, may we approach?" We are headed for a bench conference, and there is going to be a break in the coverage. That's why there's so many files. That's why I didn't upload every single bench conference to start with. But here we go. All right.
Mm-hmm. What?
I don't want to do this, but I'm going to have to ask for a mistrial because you identified us as public defenders.
Oh my gosh.
Again, I would rather say it now. I mean, I realize you could have.
Is that a mistrial?
I'm looking for my case, but.
Are you kidding me?
No, Your Honor, I'm not. I'm sorry.
Can you waive that?
I don't believe I can waive it on behalf of my client. I would like to move everything along. There is nothing I want more than to have trial today. That's an old one. Just trying to find
Gee.
the right case, so I'm not. I want to make sure that I'm not misleading anyone. It's Williams. I think so. I love how this is flagged because I don't think I'm ever going to use it, and then I can find it.
I think I mentioned that in cases before, and I've admonished the jury to ignore it.
Ms. West had a case here in Bell County that was reversed because of that being mentioned. So I know that it's.
I think part of the nature of the allegations against Mr. Shell are theft, and I think a jury would. I mean, it's not like. I mean, there are some crimes where it doesn't matter who your lawyer is, but there are some crimes where you can't afford a lawyer. The jury knowing that they add to it. If she can find the case, we can go to it,
And we'll know if we're
and then we'll know.
right on it.
I said DPA. I didn't tell him it was a free lawyer.
Maybe that will be different from that.
Huh?
It'd be really nice if we could look it up as the case name.
If the court wants to keep moving on, we can research the topic and bring up this again.
We're going to move on. I said DPA. I didn't say a free lawyer.
So is that overruling our request?
Yeah. I mean, we're going to move on. We're going to move on. I don't think I've prejudiced him, and
I have to make the objection and ask.
I know
them to
you've
try.
made it,
I'll
and
get the
that's
case
it.
law to
I don't
you so
even
you have it.
know if they know what DPA means, and I'm not even going to ask them
We
at this
just won't
point.
bring it up again. I realize
No,
it.
but
Can't
that-
waive the objection. I'm sorry.
If it's reversed, it's reversed. But we're going to get this trial underway and behind us. Too much has gone wrong. It's a snake pit,
It is.
absolutely. All right. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to turn it over to counsel.
Okay. Thank you, Carrie. That was very generous and very nice of you. And I will tell Thelma that it's for her Pioneer Woman collection. Thank you so much. There was a couple of questions that was asked. Let's see. Let me back up. I'm sorry I missed a couple. Jimbo, are all the people in the courtroom, seats, family, etc. The trial was open to the public, so I would imagine that a lot of them are family, but the trial was public. Yeah, they tried to get a mistrial before it started. She motioned for a mistrial, and a lot of you have seen other videos out of order and wonder why the judge is, snarky with the defense. Well, they challenged him right off the bat, and it doesn't make it right, but they tried to get this thing that had already been put off for 6 years put off again. And really, like he said, DPA, like, you know, and I'm from Eastern Kentucky. So, but do you think these people in the mountains of Eastern Kentucky that, and, you know, understand what a DPA is? I'm not so sure. But it was left open for them to set it up for a mistrial later if they wanted to. But, you know, never really came to that. He just pled guilty later. And that's what Mr. Boggs told me when he called me later today, after I missed his call, or he missed my call early. When he called me, he said, you know, he changed his plea to guilty, and he had to stand in front of the judge and tell him how he murdered Ronnie King. Well, he's trying to get that overturned, and what he's saying is that he had faulty attorneys, that his attorneys were no good. They did a pretty good job. And I think that's the reason why Parker Boggs got mad at me today, is because I said, well, hell, I think they did a pretty good job. So, but yeah, the defense was, which question, Bama Truth Seeker? Did I miss something? Because I'm scrolling back and forth, and I'm sorry if I'm missing all kinds of stuff, I'm sure. Yeah, the courtroom is a full house. What question was it, Bama? Send it again, and I'll look for it right now before we get started on this next part. Arkansas, do you have the membership link? I did add it to the about page. And there possibly is a link. Let me look. Let me go right quick and let me make this not full screen anymore. No, I don't see it on there now. Guard dog it. Of course not. Of course it's not there now. But right here where it says analytics and video, there should be a place for that. And actually, that's the trial link. Let me pull up the live and see. I'm not going to do it because it'll mess everything up. So let me go back. We're going to play this second part of this trial here. Not second part, but this next video, and try to cover some more. Let's see. Did you send that question again, Bama? Let me look. I don't see it. Thank you, Red Ruby Sky. Here, I'm going to put it up for you right quick. And if you guys have a question or two, let's get it right now. Yeah, Miss Lee, it says join, Red Ruby Sky. It says join when you, like, it should be down there under the live video part. Oh, Arkansas is a new member. Thank you, Arkansas. Just noticed the full gala in the courtroom and curious who those people are. Oh, it's just, I mean, there's surely a lot of family, but it's, yeah, it's a lot of public too, because it was highly publicized trial. Yeah, there's so many different, and that's what, man, I wish I could go back in life and just go into law. I think it would be so intriguing and so fun. There you go. Thank you, Arkansas. There's a link. So I'll leave that there for a minute. We're going to start this next video. Let me see if I can make that thing bigger again. Let's see. Full screen, bigger, and this video actually is 11 minutes long almost. So we're going to go ahead and get it started. And I may stop here if I see plenty of questions going on, and we may discuss a little bit. So, but let's go ahead and get started on this next 11-minute segment. So it's 11 minutes, so probably pretty decent. Yeah, it was a big story. It was definitely a big story. All right, let me mute so you guys don't get any echo.
To begin asking you, since more specific questions. So, Mr. Boggs?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Police court, counsel. And I'm going to speak up in case my questions are directed to this jury panel here.
This is actually still more jury selection. My
Some of
bad.
you may also raise it here, but I'll ask them to respond. But if you should hear something that concerns you, just remember it, so that if you come up here and sit in one of these chairs, then you can remind us what you heard.
Thank you,
Again,
Red
I'm Mark
Ruby Sky.
Boggs, Commonwealth Attorney in Harlan. We appreciate you being here this morning. The jury system is an integral part of justice in America, and we feel very strongly about it. Now, there's no right or wrong answers, okay? From the questions I asked you, there's no right or wrong answers. There's just truthful answers. So I ask you to be truthful, and that's really all we need. The point of this voir dire
Thank
is
you,
so that
Sean.
in a trial, we can make sure that we have a fair and impartial jury. How many of you believe that the defendant who's charged by the Commonwealth, that he is entitled to a fair trial? Anyone believe that he's not, simply because he's been charged by the Commonwealth? Anyone believe that he's not entitled to fair trial? Is there anyone here who believes that the Commonwealth, who is prosecuting this case, that we too are entitled to a fair trial? Anyone, do we all agree on that, that we too are entitled to a fair trial? Anyone here believe that the Commonwealth, because it's the state, the government, the prosecution, that somehow we're not entitled to a fair trial? Anyone believe that? Does everyone agree to follow the rules that the court, that the judge will give you? Even if you may not agree with them personally, on a personal level, that as a member of the jury, you will follow the judge's instructions, even though you don't agree with them. Does everyone agree to follow the judge's rules?
If I don't agree with his rule, then how can I agree with it?
Well, if he instructs you as to the law, that the law says if A, B, and C happens, you've got to find him guilty, you see. That's the kind of instruction I'm talking about. Not because the jury will decide the ultimate issue in this case, not the judge. But he will instruct you as the law. That's his job, to instruct you what the law says. So do you agree to follow that instruction that he gives you? Are we all together with that? That even though you may not agree with it. The example of that would be, although this is not in this case at all, but I'm giving you an example, that in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, abortion is legal. It is legal in Kentucky. Many people disagree with that personally. But if the judge should instruct you that this was legal, even though you on a personal level would not agree with that, you would follow the judge's instruction that in the law of Kentucky is that abortion is legal. Do you understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Okay. That's not in this case, but that's the first example that popped out. So you're going to follow the rules, is what the judge says, not go off on your own. Now, it's the Commonwealth's burden, our burden, to prove to you the elements of the crime. And we feel that we can do that. Does everyone agree that you will follow the law and match up the evidence that we offer? And so that if we meet our burden of proof, you feel that you can do that? Now, does anyone here have a religious or personal belief where you could not sit as a member of the jury and decide the range of penalty in this case, which is acquittal, not guilty, to the range is to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. Anyone but have a religious belief that you could not participate as a member of the jury? There are three types of evidence. Three types of evidence. They're the physical things that you can see and touch. There's testimonial evidence that will be given to you by people who will be sworn to testify, and they will tell you from the words of their mouth what their testimony is. That is a second type of evidence. A third type of evidence is a little bit harder to understand, but it's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence. And the best way I can describe circumstantial evidence is to you that last night you go to bed, you get ready to go to bed, you look out the window and you see no snow. The ground's clear. You go to bed, you sleep. The next morning you wake up, you look out that same window and you see snow. You didn't see it snow. No one's going to show you a video of it snowing. No one is going to testify and tell you that it snowed. But because there was no snow during the night, you wake up, there is snow. The circumstances are such that although you did not see it snow, you will accept that as snow. Do you agree with that? Anyone say that's not snow, it's plastic or powder or something like that, it's not really snow. It's that, that type of thing. You agree to accept those three types of evidence. Circumstantial evidence is recognized by the law as a type of evidence. Everybody agree with that? Good. Now, there's no preference under the law. There's no preference under the law for one or the other. Now, trials with this evidence are a search for the truth. Everyone agree with that? It's a search for the truth. And it's not a search for doubt. You agree with that? It's not a search for doubt. Now, I don't know if the defendant's going to testify or not. Does everyone agree that he does have the right to not testify? And you can't hold that against him if he decides not to testify. He has that right. Everyone agree that he's still there, innocent, until proven guilty. Everyone in this state who's accused of a felony is entitled to a jury trial. Everyone. Do we all agree with that? That he's entitled to this trial? Now, the third part of your job, if he is found, he's innocent today. If he is found to be guilty, it's the penalty stage. And in Kentucky, criminal laws are bifurcated or divided so that we deal only with guilt. This first phase of the trial, we deal only with the guilt. If he's found guilty, then we have a second phase as to what the penalty would be. Now, can everyone agree to put the idea of penalty out of their minds during this first part of the trial and just focus on the guilt or innocence? Now, this may be the most important question I ask. And I ask that should any of you think of something that I haven't asked you that would affect your ability to listen to the evidence. Have I failed to ask you anything? And if you want to approach the bench and tell the judge, is there anything that I've not asked you that you think I should have that would affect your ability to be a fair and impartial juror today? I'll say that A few more things. Seated at the table with me in the middle there, this gentleman is retired Master Sergeant Detective with the Kentucky State Police, Michael Cornett. Has anyone ever been arrested by him? A member of your family ever been prosecuted by him? Or have had any relationship at all with him or the Kentucky State Police in general that would cause you a little difficulty? Shall we, you want to approach? Your 56.
All right, while we queue up the next video here, does anybody have any questions? I'm sure I've missed some stuff. Hey, there's the lab. That's actually, I guess, his video coming up. So let me try to find our next video. Actually, it looks like it hopped right into Josh's chat. Or maybe it's no video. Anyway, let's find. I hope I'm unmuted. I am. Okay, let's find the next video. Lord, I went way back too far, didn't I? Okay, these are. And you, I know that we're, this is not all that exciting going over the jury selection, but, don't want to be accused of not playing the whole trial. So this is what we got. I think this is a bench conference. We'll go ahead and run through this bench conference.
36.
236. All right. And what?
Full disclosure, my brother was a Kentucky State policeman.
Your brother was Kentucky State
Now
Police.
he is no longer and hasn't been for several years, but
Retired.
yeah,
He's
and
not
moved to
working.
Florida.
Moved to Florida. Does that affect your ability to render a fair and impartial verdict in this case based on the
It should
evidence?
not at all.
You
No.
wouldn't. It would not at all.
No.
All right. Questions?
How long did your brother work for the Kentucky State Police?
Probably 5-6 years.
Was he a police officer before that?
No,
No.
that was his first police position.
Thank you, Angela Green. Thank you so
There
much.
was an attempt on his life by someone that he had arrested and had put in jail. And he had a young son, so he moved away.
I think with the experience in your life, you're going to hear testimony from some Kentucky State Police officers. And you're going to hear about what they do. Do you think his experience would affect how you view their testimony?
I don't think so.
What was your answer?
Sorry?
What was your answer?
Oh, no, I don't think so. But full disclosure, I felt like I needed to let you know that.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah.
That's why we asked the question.
Yeah, that's what
Right.
the question was asked.
But the question the judge is asking with the fact that your brother was a KSP, would that affect your ability to hear the evidence?
It will not.
And would you give any additional preference to the testimony by the Kentucky State Police?
No.
Anything further?
No.
You can take your seat. What?
Yeah, I guess we would make a motion to strike
Generally
it.
speaking, somebody has a relative in law enforcement, but therefore may have emotions about somebody in law enforcement in the case that are no different than somebody.
I'll
that
tell you
had
what, ma'am, since you explained that your brother left because of a threat on his life,
Right.
and given the nature of this case, I'm going to excuse you.
Okay.
And I appreciate your honesty and
No problem.
forthrightness.
I understand completely. Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you. Okay. Call another number. What was her number?
Okay, sorry for the lull there and the pause. Yes, I do need to make a playlist, and tomorrow I will have a playlist. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, thank you, Sarita Smiles. I appreciate it. Yes, I do. I dropped the ball. I thought for some reason those would be in order, and I screwed it up. But yes, I'm going to make a playlist and have that ready for when we go live tomorrow. So let's take a tiny little break here. You guys ready for the book giveaway? Put a 1 in the chat if you're ready for the book giveaway. Okay. So whoever posts in the same post all 3 answers correctly, and you can post as many times as you want, but the first post we get with all 3 correct answers, I will sign a book and mail it to you. I'm going to go to the post office tomorrow. I've got a couple things to take care of, so should be tomorrow. Question 1. Now, don't answer question 1 and throw it out there. Wait till you hear all 3 questions. You can go ahead and start typing them in your chat. But save the send button until you get all 3 answers. Question 1. Who is the lead detective in this case? You can give me first and last name, or you can just give me it's a man, his last name. Question 2. Who is the judge? We went over it to start. And that's a picture of him sitting right there. The man sitting at the bench. What is his last name? You don't have to give me his first name. All right. So detective blank, judge blank. And here is my favorite question. Who won the 2022 NCAA Basketball National Championship? Game was last night. And go. Barbara Buffalo gives up. My memory would stink too, especially when put on the spot. There's an answer. Let's see if that's the first one I see. Actually, it's the second one I see. Let's see. Let me go back up. This one was first. Detective Judge in Kansas. Well, no. You gotta give me the name. Detective Cornet. No. Wrong. Let's see. Well, this one is the next one. No. Incorrect. Cornet, same judge serving in search. Sort of. You didn't give me the judge's name. Kansas, that's all I got. Come on, guys. Jayhawks, that's all I know. Come on, guys. Here we go. Is this it? Detective Carey? No, Jenny Penny. No. North Carolina was the loser of the national championship game. Slinger? Basketball national championship. Let me go back up here to Slingers. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Mike Cornett. Ken Hendrickson was right. Those are right. We still don't have all three. Oh, the last question. Who won the 2022 National Basketball Championship? College. NCAA. Barney Miller. Judge Judy. No, you're wrong. Boggs is the Commonwealth attorney. Very close. Very close. He's not the KSP guy. There we go. There's the winner. First one I see that's correct. Sean Aslinger, Kansas, won the national championship last night. Beat North Carolina. Biggest comeback in NCAA championship game history. Detective Michael Cornett was the lead investigator from the Kentucky State Police. And Judge Kent Hendrickson. Sean, send me a message with your address, and I'll get a book out to you tomorrow, buddy. If I'm going to Harlan, which I'm going to try to do, I may message you and see if you want to meet me and just pick it up. Save me on the shipping charges. Okay. Good job, Sean. Everybody throw a clapping hands up or some kind of hand for Sean. He cheated. Somebody said he cheated. Oh, my goodness. He's from Everett, so it's a good possibility he did cheat. I'm just kidding. Hey, Sean, quick question here. Do you know how many times Everett's beat Loyal in football from my 5th grade year to my 8th grade year? That's 4 years, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Do you know how many times we lost to Everett's? If you said 0, you're right. We lost 2 games in those 4 years, both games to Cumberland. And Cumberland lost 2 games in those 4 years, and both games were to Loyal. Good. It was a good rivalry. Fun. I hate that they took all those schools out, which I understand it, though. All right, you guys ready for some more trial? Throw me some hearts up in the chat if you're ready for some more trial. We may do a book giveaway like once a week or something. I'll have to order some more books. But we'll do something anyway. We'll do until I get some books. All right, we got some hearts. Let's watch some trial, guys. I'm going to mute and play you some trial here.
Wait, just a second. Let's get someone else seated here.
So the question was, is there something that I haven't asked you that might be a factor in your ability to sit and listen to this trial today?
All right, just a minute. Ma'am, you I think you're 549. Have you heard the questions so far? Anything you need to respond to? Is there any of these questions you need to respond to? Okay.
She's saying yes.
Yes, you might as well come on up. All right.
Okay, this may be the video of one of the juror selections that I pulled because of what they said about their family. There's a couple that I pulled specifically to because they didn't want to be involved in the trial for reasons that nobody's business. So so I pulled them, and had nothing to do with me, nothing to do with anybody else that I know. Just personal issues that these people had, so I pulled them. Somebody asked about the book. It is about it's entitled The Rise and Fall of Warrior FC, but it's not only about the MMA. It's kind of like an autobiography of my life during that time. It's got much more than just MMA stuff in it. So it's I've had many people tell me it's only like 142 pages. Many people tell me that they read it all in one sitting because they just couldn't put it down. So I was flattered by that, and I appreciate it. I want to write another one. I'm going to write a couple more. One about my life during the wrestling years, and some more related stuff. Nothing to do with this. I don't have any desire whatsoever to do anything with this trial as far as a book. There's the book's being told to you right here. You're seeing it right here on the stand in living color. So here we go. Let's watch this little video. It's a couple minutes long, I think. I can't see exactly how long, but let's pull this off. Maybe it shows. Let me mute and I'll play.
I actually already mentioned intellectual disability, so I'm gonna move on from that question. Another issue that will be raised in mitigation, and some people don't feel that this is a mitigator, is drug and alcohol abuse or substance abuse issues. Has anybody experienced yourself or through a close friend or family member someone with alcohol or drug addiction or substance abuse? I'd be surprised if there weren't hands. Does anybody feel that that's something you would hold against a person and makes them a worse human being? Does anybody feel that that's, legally, it's one of the mitigating factors. So that's something that may be discussed. It may come up in the guilt phase with certain witnesses. Is anybody going to be uncomfortable hearing about drug or alcohol abuse or not be able to sit in the trial because of that? And the last mitigation category is mental health history. Does anybody, it could be yourself, it could be a close friend or family member who has a mental health diagnosis or disease that affects them mentally. And I think we all know different initials, but there's things like ADHD or depression, bipolar, schizophrenia. There are lots of different things from very minor symptoms to very severe symptoms. I see it again. Do you want to approach? That's fine. There's some other hands, so we'll get to you.
4 or 5 years. And she actually got a disease from it. And
What's your number, man?
Sorry.
What's your number, man?
106.
106. And what did you want to tell us?
Okay. My niece had a little girl, and she married a boy, and he sexually abused this little girl for like.
My bad. I didn't realize that one was still on there. I'm going to delete it. That's nobody's business either. So let me get off of that video. Sorry about that. That's the kind of thing I wanted to avoid, and crap, I should have. My fault. I feel like dirt. Getting ready to start actually getting some trial going here, so that's just a couple more of these daggum short videos. Maybe just one more. Actually, yep, here we go. Actually, there's a third. No, maybe I'm thought there was. Let's see. Where was that at? Where's there? We're here. That one. All right.
Yes, Your Honor. That's correct, and we have a joint request.
Okay, first of all, let me. We're on the record this morning in Commonwealth, Kentucky versus Shelby Shell, Harlan Circuit Court case number 13CR00076. And before we get started with trial proper, we need to recognize some witnesses, and you had another request.
Yes, Your Honor, and that is just that if the court pleases that tomorrow we start at 9 o'clock.
Oh, we will. Yeah.
They will be recognized back at 8:30.
Yes, yes. And we will probably be working late every day.
Yes.
All right. We'll get through this and get all this done. All right. Who are the witnesses I'm recognizing here?
Your Honor, this is Jerry Mulkey.
And when are they to be here? Let me ask you that.
Your Honor, we would request that they be here at 8:30.
8:30 tomorrow.
That's when they're all going to be back to back.
This is all the prosecution witnesses
These are all
swearing in, including myself, including Ernie Shell, including Ronnie King's sister, and I think nephew.
Jerry Mulkey. We have James Collins. We have Jesse Farley. We have Ernie Shell. We have Kevin Dixon. So these are the witnesses.
Each of you raise your right hand. You swear or affirm that you will be here tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Yes, you do. You're recognized to be here. You will be, if you don't, you're bound to the Commonwealth of Kentucky of the penal sum of $1,000 if you're not here. And so it's very important that you be here. You're still under subpoena. And so what we're going to do at this point in time is, and you each understand and agree that you will not depart or conceal your place of being or beyond the reach of this court. You all agree to that? You understand that? All right, thank you. What we're going to do is each of you will come up and sign this form. It's a clerk, all right? And I'll go ahead and sign it myself down here, and we will.
Your Honor, if I may request, I believe we've already had a motion in limine on the issue of.
Maybe it's not a swearing in. Maybe it's just us getting threatened with $1,000 fine if we don't show up.
They cannot be here during trial testimony.
Right.
And that they are to not speak about or discuss the case amongst themselves with others during the pendency.
And please, if any of you use Facebook, please do not post anything about trial or any matter having to do with the trial or the participants in the trial or anything to do with it on Facebook or any other social media. Please don't do that.
So Ernie got in trouble for hopping on Facebook later in the trial.
About it. So we will actually begin about what time we're going to begin at 10:30.
9 o'clock
No,
tomorrow.
I'm talking about this today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. We'll have the jury in here shortly. All right. Okay, we go off the record.
Okay, so now we're going to get into the trial, the actual trial.
All right.
So let's find this video and we're going to get to the meat of it. Actual testimony. Okay, and tomorrow I'll have a playlist. This next video is probably going to be, I don't even know if we go all the way through it. We may, but it's almost an hour long, I think. Let me look, make sure, but yeah. No, it's not. I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Let me look. Oh my goodness. Jim won't know his butt from a hole in the ground. That'd be true right now. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it's 57 minutes, 32 seconds long. And here we go.
All right, we're on the record this morning in Commonwealth of Kentucky versus Shelby L. Shell, Harlan Circuit Court number 13 CR 00076. And before we bring the jury in, is there any preliminary matters we need to discuss?
No, sir.
All right. Anything you can think of?
No, Your Honor, we have a subpoena for a state prisoner,
Mhm.
and we'll submit that subpoena with a transport order at some point during the day. I just wanted the court to be aware, maybe during a break or.
I signed a transport order this morning. I don't know where it came from.
We sent it, but I was supposed to bring a physical copy.
No, it wasn't for that.
Huh?
Was it for?
Oh, who was it for? Weedman?
Murray David Weedman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We filed that this
I
time.
filed it this morning. Just want to make sure that was done. Thank you.
All right, then, television, WYMT. You know, you understand the rules about not videoing the jury, keeping the camera, otherwise away from them, and not moving around, and so forth and so on. You're aware of all that. I've had WYMT in court before, and you do a fine job with it. Okay, so with that in mind, I guess we need to bring the jury on in now, get them seated this morning, and get going. All right. Okay, this is a witness. This isn't the jury, but they're coming in behind it. All rise for the jury, please. All right, ladies and gentlemen, come on in. Be
Judge, I'm gonna
seated.
see numerically according to this chart. 88, be back in the first row over. 106, this will be the seat you'll keep all the time in here, okay? 233. 233. 240. 240, okay. 274. 283. 354. 366. 510. 548. 596. 612. 8:12, and 8:45. All right, now, I'm gonna give you all a notepad. And on the inside,
Be seated.
when you get it, don't put your name on that up here on the hard copy, just write your number right there, okay, in the corner. And that way, when you get through, you're not allowed to take it out, but just leave it in your seat, okay? And when so put it back in your seat before you leave, right, if you're passing it around. There you go, Kobe will pass your pen around. If you pass this, this will be a juror badge. And you can wear that out if you go out to lunch, and when you go places while you're, and even when you leave, you do everything in your seat, okay? All right. Just be sure, do not take this out of the book and leave your books in your seats, and put your badge in the easel when you leave. Or at lunch, you take it out. Try to stay, remember your seat, stay in the same seat. Remember to do that, okay? All right, thank you very much. Well, you got it.
All right. All right, folks, I hope you all had a good, relaxing weekend leading up to today. Do any of you have anything to report to me? Has anyone approached you or tried to talk to you or anything like that? Not this case. All right, everyone's shaking their heads no. And again, always when we go out, when we take breaks, and we will be taking breaks, and you're outside, or please don't talk to anyone about any. The odd thing is they require us to give you these juror badges to put on, and that just draws people like flies to want to talk to you about what you're doing. So it doesn't make a lot of sense sometimes, but please don't. And don't talk among yourselves about anything you about the trial or anything you hear in terms of evidence and so forth, because it's premature. You make up your minds when you get the case and you deliberate. So don't form any opinions about it or talk among yourselves about it. Otherwise, again, with regard to the notepads, leave them in your seats always. Don't take them outside. Ultimately, you'll decide this case on your memory, what you hear in evidence. Now, what we're going to begin with today, first of all, I want to remind you of something I said when we first met last week. The defendant, Mr. Shell, is presumed innocent as a matter of law, and the Commonwealth of Kentucky has the burden of proof of guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Mr. Shell may or may not testify. That's up to him, but you're drawing no adverse inference from that if he does not testify. That's his constitutional right not to testify. Let's see, what else do we need to do? What we're going to start with this morning is opening arguments, but I want to bring something else to your attention by way of just education. You're to consider this case based on evidence, and evidence is what you'll hear under oath from witnesses testifying, or from exhibits introduced, or sometimes they're just demonstrative exhibits that aren't introduced, but the exhibits that are introduced will be evidence. You'll be allowed to take them back to the jury room with you. That's evidence. We're going to start with opening statements. Comments of counsel, the lawyers, are not evidence. The opening statements will be what they intend to prove to you or through their witnesses. Closing arguments is their take on what the evidence proves, but it is not evidence. So just bear that in mind. counsel will always approach when you want, if you have an objection, you need to stand and you'll be recognized. Now, as far as breaks are concerned, I want to, we'll take breaks, restroom breaks and all that. Any of you smoke? Well, that's good. That's refreshing. That's good. I quit a long time ago and I feel a lot better about it. But we will take restroom breaks. If you need to, just raise your pad and the bailiff will see you and to bring to my attention. And we don't want you to be uncomfortable. I don't want to be uncomfortable. And don't be embarrassed about just signaling to the bailiff, because you're probably signaling for half the courtroom by then. And so we want to make you comfortable. We don't want any, we want your concentration on the evidence and not on other things. All right. So I think that covers everything I need to address. As a preliminary matter, is the Commonwealth ready with its opening statement?
We are, Your Honor.
All right. Proceed, Ms. Boggs. Oh, by the way, this is Jonathan Lee, the Assistant Commonwealth Attorney. You didn't get to meet him last week, but he'll be participating.
Thank you. I was going to introduce Mr. Lee.
All right.
Who was ill last week, and Mr. Luttrell, who's also at our office, who's the Commonwealth Detective, is here with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you being here today. As the judge said, opening statements or statements made by the attorney are not evidence. What you hear from the witness stand, what you hear is evidence. When Detective Cornett testifies, he was the detective in this case, he will be presenting evidence from his testimony. But this is a time that the Commonwealth gets to tell you what we believe the evidence will be presented to you, to give you some idea of the case. As the judge told you the first day you were here when he read the indictment, this is a murder case. It's a murder case. It's just not a killing. It's a bad killing. And I apologize for what we're going to have to show you during this evidence right up front. It's a bad killing. Ronnie King did not need to die the way he died. No one should die the way Ronnie King died. He was a well-respected man in his community. He had a family that lived around him. He had worked for 19 years as a housing manager for Eastbrook. It's a housing project. He had worked there for 19 years. He was not married, had no children. He was 59 years old when he died. 59 years old when he was murdered. He liked to collect things. He collected coins, pennies, wheat pennies. You'll hear about wheat pennies in a jar. He traded guns and knives. And he had money that he collected and he saved. He had previously been broken into when he wasn't home. And they stole a lot of things. His nephew will tell you they stole a lot of things from him, things that they could carry off. But see, Ronnie King had things in safes, big gun safes, 2 of them, that you couldn't get into if you didn't know how to get into it or have the key or the combination. So February 17, that's a Sunday night. The last person who talked to Ronnie King that's going to testify to you that we know of was his sister, Jerry Mulkey. She will tell you that as she talked to Mr. King, he said, Kevin's up on the porch. Kevin's at the door, going to get off. Got off. It's Sunday night, it's after dark. That's the last she heard from him. Now, then you'll hear evidence that throughout that night, there was somebody else there. It wasn't Kevin. You'll hear evidence of someone who said, I heard him say, Kevin's at the door, and I knew I could get in. And so you'll hear that testimony. Then Ronnie King died this way. It was a bad killing, and it was sloppy. It wasn't well thought out, well thought. It was time consuming. Because, again, if you're robbing somebody and you're trying to get into their safe, they have to be able to participate in that somehow. So Ronnie King, you'll see photos. You'll hear evidence from the detective and from the coroner and from the medical examiner who examined his body when it was taken to Frankfurt. But he had a belt wrapped around the arm. And he had a piece of a belt. He had a piece of zip ties. You'll see photos of zip tie on the floor. There was zip tied. Then all of that was duct taped. His hands were duct taped. His underwear was pulled down. It was sloppy. His duct tape was taped around the underwear. His face and nose and mouth duct taped. As much as 5 times around. But from his glasses were still on. His glasses were on. The duct tape covered his nose, mouth, and down to his chin. Zip ties, belt, duct tape, all of that. And then he's robbed. Safes are open. And he has a pillow put across his face. He's lying on the floor. And he's shot. Right where his glasses go across his ear. In the head. And he's killed. But hopefully, he died quickly then. Because then there was fire. There was an attempt to burn the duct tape or burn the evidence or burn fingerprints. So he's doused in something and he's burned and his shirt's burnt off, his whatever. He's burned down to his feet. His socks have melted on his feet where the duct tape and the underwear was all tucked around. There's other places in the house where the fire was started. But like I say, not well planned, not well thought out. House didn't burn. So Ronnie King didn't burn. He was burned. His clothes were burned. He was singed. His hair was singed. The blood was burned. But where this duct tape was on the skin, it didn't burn. Duct tape that was on the face didn't burn, or around his feet. But there was stuff that did burn. The sofa in another room, the couch in another room, had it burned and it fell through the floor because it was up high above the flood level. It burned through the floor. But the fire marshal will tell you there's several places fire was started. Of course, it was started all over the body, but it didn't burn. Not a good plan to hide all the evidence. So there's evidence still there. So we ask for your patience, and we appreciate this ordeal that we're going to go through in the next few days. And we hope that you can come to the same conclusion that Detective Cornett came to, and others in the Commonwealth, that we will have enough evidence to show you that that this man here, Shelby Shell, robbed and murdered Ronnie King. The evidence is there. See, Shelby Shell knew Ronnie King. Shelby Shell told WYMT that Ronnie King had loaned him money to get married just recently. He knew it. His family's from Harlan. They knew everybody in that little community of Everett's. If you haven't been there, it's a small town in Harlan County. And Ronnie King, the deceased, he was one-time mayor of Everett's. He lived right across from the funeral home, right in town. You'll see pictures of his home. And Shelby Shell knew him. Shelby Shell knew him. And Shelby Shell robbed him, killed him, and tried to burn his body. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Boggs. The defense, who will open for the defense? Ms. Karen?
I'm here to be the voice of Shelby Shell. We talked a little bit about how somebody might want to speak to you, might not feel capable. I'm his attorney and I'm the voice for Shelby Shell today. It's been a long time coming and it was a horrible crime, but Shelby Shell didn't do it. 6 years of wondering, 6 years to wait, 6 years of worry, 6 years to investigate. And we'll be talking about what we know now. And it's going to be a little bit different than what we knew immediately after Mr. King's body was found. One of the things that you may hear is that Shelby Shell's own brother says that he confessed. But did he really understand what he was saying? Did he understand what he was saying? Because Shelby Shell was the special education kid, the throwaway child. You will hear from experts and you will hear from other witnesses about his intellectual disability. The terminology may change during the course of the testimony. We used to use the words mentally retarded. We used to use the word slow. The current language is intellectual disability. So we'll try to use that terminology during the case. You will hear about Shelby Shell's lack of schooling. You will hear about how his intellectual disability played into his gullibility and his need to please other people. You will wonder if Shelby Shell is the one person stupid enough to admit to an unsolved murder. You will wonder why KSP relied on a special education person's tall tale to close their case. You will wonder where in this story things don't match up to the evidence. You'll wonder what he got wrong. And I'm not here to tell you the story of how the government thinks this crime occurred. I am here to warn you about some of the things that you will hear and you will see, which Mr. Boggs discussed a little bit. You will likely see a video from the Everett's funeral home across the street from Mr. King's house. We tend to think of video as pretty good evidence in the case. It will show you the outside of the home and some of the response to the reported arson. You will get to review medical examiner's findings, and you may get to do that today, and I want you to pay a lot of attention to the medical examiner's findings. You will see autopsy photos. Some of those are difficult to look at, and crime scene photos and phone records. You will see all of that evidence during the course of this trial. But you won't hear about a murder weapon. You won't hear about DNA matching a suspect or matching Shelby Shell. You won't hear about fingerprints being matched to any suspects, let alone Shelby Shell. You won't hear about touch DNA. You won't hear about fibers or ballistics. You won't hear about fingerprints or footprints. You'll wonder what else is out there. Telling the side of the story for Shelby Shell, being his voice, I want you to keep an open mind. You're going to hear from the government first. I want you to keep an open mind because there are witnesses who may testify to details that could be considered salacious, men having sex with other men, sometimes for money. There are witnesses who may testify to drug trafficking. There are witnesses who may testify to impersonating law enforcement. There are witnesses who may testify to having a previous felony, so there may be convicted felon witnesses. The government is going to give a presentation, and there are some holes, and we don't have to fill them. Shelby Shell is innocent, sitting in that chair right now. And at the end of this case, you will find that the government is not able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Shelby Shell committed this murder. Yes, a murder was committed. Yes, there was an arson. It was a horrible crime. But Shelby Shell didn't do it. And because I think if you keep an open mind and you wait and you wonder and you let yourself worry over the evidence, carefully assess the evidence, see what is actually being investigated, then at the end of this trial, you will find Shelby Shell not guilty.
All right, thank you, Ms. Karen. All right, thank you, Ms. Karen. So at this point, we should be ready to proceed with the Commonwealth's case in chief. First witness. Yes, sir, Mr. Lee.
Your Honor, we call Mike Cornett to stand.
All right. Mike Cornett. Sir, would you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you give to us today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right. Have a seat here in the witness stand. Speak up loudly and clearly. Do any of you have any problems here? If you do this, we have some earphones over here. I use them occasionally myself, just so that the Harlan Circuit courtroom's acoustics are not nearly this good. So anyway, all right, Mr. Cornett.
Your Honor, if it pleases the court, I'm not familiar with the trial procedure in Bell County concerning attorney placement. I know that the podium is over here. Where would we, what's a good, and I hate to ask you this, I saw the podium here and thought that's where I was going to be. I've got the paperwork.
Would you like to have it back? That would be fine.
Yeah.
And then maybe take me up on the
Stand
record.
there, the microphones might not pick you up, and I've had occasions where I stood there without the podium, I was not on the record.
So they need to
That might be better. Just bring it on over, Bailiff, if you would, and we'll let them. Council can use the podium, and we need to hook the mic up so be sure to get everybody on the record.
Thanks.
All right.
Okay, that's one reason we moved the podium, people said they didn't see you.
Yeah, can the defendant see the witness?
Yes.
I can. That's a good question.
That's the critical thing. So long as the defendant can see the witness, that's the critical thing. All right. Is his microphone working?
Yeah, I think the light does not come on.
The witness is all right.
It distracts, but it is working.
All right. All right, Mr. Lee, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. We seem to have gotten things straight now. We're getting the Harlan County folks here in Bell County, so we got to work it out. But sir, I'm going to go ahead and ask you some questions. Could you please introduce yourself briefly to the jury and to the court?
I'm retired Master Trooper Michael Cornett, signed the Post 10 in Harlan, served 24 years as a trooper and a detective in Harlan County.
Okay. Now, you noted that you're retired presently. I'm going to take you back to February of 2013, were you retired from the Kentucky State Police at that time?
No, sir, I was not. I was a general investigative detective assigned to Harlan County.
Okay. And specifically, February 17th and February 18th of 2013, did you retain those duties that you just described?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you recall working on those days, February 17th, February 18th, 2013?
I remember working on the 18th because that's the day I received the call.
Okay. So 17th, you did not work?
I don't recall if I worked or not, sir.
Okay, all right. But your involvement with this case, when did that occur?
I initially got the call, or State Police got the call at about 10:54 a.m. on February the 18th, 2013. I received a call of a house fire at 148 Kelly Street in the city of Everett, which is located in Harlan County, Kentucky.
Okay. When you state the state police received that call, were you on duty at that time? Were you called out? You recall?
I was on duty.
Okay. So were you immediately notified of the complaint?
Not immediately. A couple of uniformed troopers responded to the scene at first.
Okay.
And then when they discovered what they discovered, I was notified.
Okay. So at a certain point, then your presence is requested at the location you described. That was 148 Kelly Street in Everett, Kentucky.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So did you travel there?
Yes, sir, I did.
And what did you visually see when you arrive on that scene?
When I arrived on the scene, there were some troopers there, several EMS and fire personnel on the scene. The house is a two-story dwelling with a basement above ground that's raised to be out of the floodplain. The house is brick sided with a shingled roof. There's a carport on the side of the house as I approached with a red pickup truck parked underneath. Get out of the car, have one of the troopers at the scene to start a crime log so we can document who comes and goes onto the crime scene, the time they arrive, the time they leave.
Let me ask you a couple of questions there about that. So generally speaking, and we're going back to not presently, but on or around February 18, 2013, was it customary for a detective, as you were, to be called to every crime scene?
Not every crime scene, just whatever a supervisor deemed necessary for a detective.
Okay. When you arrive on scene, you just testified that you began to tell the troopers that were there a few things, and what you specifically stated was, I believe, an evidence log. Is that correct?
Crime log, crime scene log.
Crime scene log. Okay. Now, you informing the troopers to do that, are you taking over the scene at that point in time? I mean,
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. So were you the senior investigator on the scene at this point in time?
Yes, sir.
As soon as you arrived?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you describe the protocol in terms of what does that mean? You're the senior investigator, you're the detective that arrives on scene. What does that mean?
That means I'll be the investigating officer. I'll, whatever I deem necessary, or I'll give each trooper or detective, whoever is sent to assist me, duties to do, whether it's talk to witnesses or take photographs, just any array of things.
Okay. And the first thing you did was a crime scene log. You informed them to start a crime scene log.
Yes, sir.
Can you inform me and the jury what is a crime scene log?
It's just a log on a piece of paper. Tells the person who we mark off the crime scene, anyone who comes inside the barrier that we've placed up. Usually it's this piece of yellow tape y'all have seen on TV. And I have an officer standing there, and whoever comes in, they will document who comes in and the time that they come in.
Okay. All right. So take us back out to the outside of the location there in Everett, Kentucky. And you've already stated, I'm asking you this, was that Harlan County, Kentucky?
Yes, sir, it was.
Okay. take us back to the outside of that scene. You've arrived. You've informed someone to do the crime scene log. What are you seeing outside?
There's a lot of people standing across the street from the residence. Had been fire trucks there when I arrived. It's a small town, so as in any small town in southeast Kentucky, when they see a fire truck or a rescue squad or a police car go by, if they hear the siren stop nearby, everybody comes and looks to see what's going on. So that's the reason for the crime scene barrier, the tape to keep everybody out. I take photographs outside the house. The troopers on the scene had informed me what was inside, what the fire department had discovered. I go into the residence. When you go into the residence, you enter through the main entrance. You come into the living room. If you look to your left, the first room is a room with a safe and a computer table, which I refer to as a safe room. The next room down is a bedroom. Directly across from the entrance is the bathroom and laundry room. The kitchen, dining room, and living room is all one room, with the kitchen part, if I recall correctly, is kind of in an L shape to the left at the back entrance.
Okay, so let's go back. You've taken us inside now from your memory. I would like to just for a little bit take you back outside. Do you recall being outside of this location on that day? What was it like outside? Was it, the time you stated the time, but I'm going to ask you, with the daylight, did you smell anything? You stated you noticed various vehicles there. Describe in a bit detail what your senses were picking up that you can recall.
If I remember correctly, it was a bright, sunshiny morning. I could smell smoke from the fire call that the Everett's Fire Department had received. Some of the family was at his sister's house, which is, if you're looking at the front of the house, be to the left just before you get to the residence on Kelly Street. Don't remember it rain. It wasn't raining or anything that day.
Okay. You said you smelled smoke. Could you see smoke still from the house?
No, sir, I don't recall seeing any smoke at the time. I noticed that the windows of the residence were blackened.
Okay. All right. So you've previously taken us in and given us a description of sort of the layout of the house. Can you continue with that and in detail describe what you see and perceive as you're coming into this house at 148 Kelly Street?
As you enter the living room, slightly to the left of center, there's a hole that appears to have been burnt through the floor. I think a rough estimate was 2 to 3 foot wide, 6 foot long. I looked down in the hole in the basement, in the above ground basement. There lies directly beneath the hole what appears to be a metal frame for a recliner. The walls are blackened. I think maybe the clock on the wall had been melted, partially deformed. As you go into the safe room, I noticed there's a dead white male, deceased white male, lying on his back with his feet bound with duct tape, his underwear down around his ankles, hands duct tape in front, kind of like maybe a praying stance. Just his arms were bent. There was duct tape around his face from his chin to the bridge of his nose. There had been a fire in that room, it appeared to me. The victim appeared to have had some kind of wound to the right side of his head. There were 2 pillows. One, his head was lying on the pillow. The second was kind of off, discarded to the left of the victim.
Okay, so let me stop you right there, because that's a lot of information. And I'm going to ask you some questions about that. But I first want to go back. You were describing the inside of the residence, and you state that there's a hole in the floor, and then you look down and you see what appears to be the metal frame of a chair. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
So what your perception alone, you're standing there, you're seeing this. What did that make you think? What are you trying to say about that chair?
Just from my working through the years, the chair had been set on fire, and with it burning through the fire or through the floor, I assumed that was the hottest point at the time, but I could not see in the room where the fire had trailed through other parts of the residence.
So was it your belief then that the chair had previously been up on the floor that you were standing on, and then you're looking through a hole at the chair, and you believe that chair had previously been up on the second floor that you're on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it fallen through the floor.
Yes.
Okay, so you've taken us to the point then that you've seen a body lying there. At this point in time, did you know who that individual was?
I did not personally know the deceased. Some of the fire personnel who lived in Everett knew him. Stated it was the victim, Ronnie King. This was his residence we were at. The fire personnel told me that that's who it was.
Okay. So before we get into that room where you're seeing this body that you've already described with some detail, anything else about the periphery of the house that you have noticed at this point, or did you go straight in towards where the body was lying?
Initially went in straight to where the body was lying.
Okay.
Made notes, typed photographs of what I saw. And then after I finished with that room, I go to the next room and see what I can find there. Doing basically trying to detail the scene as I saw it.
Okay. Let's talk about what you noticed with the body. Okay. You first stated that it was on the ground. Is that correct?
Yes.
On the
Lying
floor?
on the floor, face up.
Face up. Okay. What room was this in?
Is that what I call the safe room? The first room to the left off of the living room.
Okay. Why did you refer to it as a safe room?
There is a Winchester brand, large gun safe there. The door was open. The safe was empty. There was a chair that was partially burnt, on the floor, standing upright next to the floor. next to the victim. If I'm not mistaken, I think there was another chair with arms, like at a computer table chair. It had looks like a metal cash box. It was open and there was no cash in it. Some of the filing cabinet drawers were open. As far as the victim himself, like I said, his ankles were duct taped. I did note that it appeared that the duct tape had been burnt from the bottom, as opposed to if you was trying to set something on fire. If you use an accelerator or something, you pour it and light it from the top. This was burned from the bottom on near his ankles and his heels. The hands were tied with I think a brown belt, duct tape, and zip ties. I noticed zip ties broken on the floor. And he had I think a plaid shirt on that was unbuttoned and a white t-shirt. And the shirt appeared to have been melted to his skin.
From your perception standing there, when you initially come in, did it appear that the body had suffered any time, just you visually, layperson looking at this body on the ground, did it appear that there were any burns to the body?
I really can't recall that. I know that the ankles.
Okay.
We'll
get into the pictures here in a little bit, okay? So let me ask you this then, moving on to a different topic. Let's talk about, you stated duct tape, correct? Can you tell me, because I can't remember all that you've said thus far, could you please tell me in all the locations of the body that you recall seeing duct tape on the deceased individual?
Around the ankles, around the wrist, hands, and around the face from below the chin to the bridge of the nose, covering both up the airways of the mouth and the nose.
Okay. So sometimes when I'm standing here talking to you, I have to ask questions that maybe in the abstract might seem foolish. You might know the answer, or think that I should or would know the answer, but I still have to ask some of these questions. So the first one I'm going to ask you is when taken collectively, the entire thing, duct tape on the feet, duct tape on the hands, duct tape around the mouth and nose area you stated, did it appear that the victim could have done that himself?
No.
Okay. Is that something you have to pay attention to when you walk into a crime scene and there's a deceased person there, whether or not it's self-inflicted, so to speak?
Yes. You can see where someone could duct tape their ankles and their face, but they couldn't duct tape their own hands. And the manner that this was, it was bound tightly. It appears first was zip ties were used, and then possibly a brown leather belt, and then the duct tape.
Okay. So you listed 3 different types of instruments, for lack of a better word, that could be utilized, in theory at least, to restrain someone. Is that correct?
Yes.
Brown belt, you said zip ties and duct tape, correct?
Yes, sir.
The duct tape, let's stay there for a moment. Can you describe the placement of the hands? Were the hands together? Were they not? Describe in detail what you recall about how the hands were duct taped.
If I remember correctly, the hands were zip tied and duct tape, kind of like this, wrist together. I can't recall if the hands were clasped or not, but I do remember the hands being close together. If I'm remembering correctly, I think it may have been the right arm was in front of the left, but I'm not 100% positive on that. But then the zip ties and the belt.
Okay. Now, moving on to the head, the duct tape on the head. You briefly mentioned this earlier, but I'm going to ask you this question just straightforward. With the manner that you observed the duct tape around the victim's head, you stated nose and mouth, do you believe, just in your observations and understanding as a person, do you believe that would have made things difficult to breathe?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you talked about zip ties, and you said, I believe your statement was, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that you stated it appeared that zip ties had been used or attempted to be used.
Yes, sir.
What makes you think that?
At the time, I saw some that had been broken, discarded near the body, the victim. At the time that I was there, I did not remove the bindings from the victim itself. I left that for the medical examiner to do. So I made a note of that, and didn't make no big deal. I didn't tell the supervisor or anything like that about seeing the broken zip ties.
Okay. All right, let's move then to the belt. Can you recall the belt? Describe to us, where was it located? What position was it in?
I think it was a brown leather belt, kind of a weave design. Maybe 3 or 4 strands of leather woven together, wrapped around the hands. I can't remember which direction, if it's left to right or right to left.
Okay. So what you just testified to, though, is that it appeared to you that 3 different ways or means of restraining someone had been applied to this body. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you do not believe that was self-inflicted? It was not done by the victim. Is that
No,
correct?
sir, I do not.
Do you believe that such a situation, one finds oneself on the floor with duct tape around the feet, duct tape around the hands, duct tape around the face and the nose and mouth, zip ties, and a leather belt? Did that appear to you to be accidental?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you believe that that was purposeful, the intent to restrain by whatever, whomever? Did it appear to you that that person was placed in that situation in that manner, restrained as you described it purposefully?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. Tell us then a little bit about the description of what you noticed around the body, and I'll give you one question that may lead you down to talk about some other things, and I'll state, did you see any blood?
Yes, there was blood near the victim's head.
Okay. Can you describe that and what you saw?
It was a rather large pool of blood. The pillow had soaked up most of the blood, or a lot of the blood. I won't say most, a lot.
So where was the pillow?
It was underneath the victim's head, and the victim's head was pointed towards Kelly Street, the front street.
Okay. So the victim's lying on the ground, and there's a pillow underneath the head?
Yes, sir.
And the body is restrained?
Yes.
And then there's a pool of blood underneath the pillow?
Yes.
Okay. Was the blood contained to the pillow, or had it spread around the body?
It spread around near the victim's head.
Okay. Was the victim wearing anything on the head, aside from duct tape?
His glasses, he had his eyeglasses on. There was a skew that were not in their natural position. Anybody wears glasses, you wear them one way, that's the way they're comfortable, that's the way you wear them. This does not appear to be natural. One side of the glasses was raised above the ear, and the lens was partially above the eye, if I recall correctly.
Okay. Now, you've talked about blood, you've talked about restraint, but earlier in your testimony, you had said something concerning actual wounds. Did you observe, as you're standing there taking this scene in, did you observe what you thought were wounds anywhere on this victim's body?
Yes, I observed a wound to the victim's head. It appeared to be a gunshot wound. The pillow lying to the side of the victim had a hole with what appeared to be black soot around the hole. This indicated to me that a firearm had been discharged through the pillow.
Okay. Through the pillow?
Yes.
Okay. So how many pillows were in this room?
Two.
And can you once more state their location?
One was under the head of the victim, and one was to the side of the victim.
I want to pause right here for just a second, because this is a very big factor and a very big key. And the reason why it was easy for them to get an arrest warrant on Shelby based on his confession. In the recording, you hear him say, "So I got the pillow, put it to his head, and pew." So that information had not been released publicly. The fact that there was a gunshot wasn't released publicly, and the fact that there was a pillow used was not released publicly. Very, very important. And for this reason, it also shows Shelby Shell is a guilty man. By the way, can you guys, you can't see her right now, but let me look. Let me see. There's my beautiful wife.
Hi, guys.
She's gonna talk to you guys here in a minute, as soon as we get done with this trial part. So let's get back to the trial now.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it's the left side, but I'm not sure.
Okay. And which pillow did you observe what you just described, the hole in the soot?
The pillow laying to the side of the victim. I collected that pillow and kept it as evidence.
Okay. So the pillow laying beside of the victim appeared, as you described, to have soot and a hole in it, correct?
Yes, sir.
And what did that make you think? What was your observation of that when coupled with what you're seeing in front of you at that point in time?
That someone had shot through the pillow in an attempt to mask the sound of the firearm being discharged.
Okay. All right. So at this point in time, the coroner was not on scene. Is that correct?
No, sir. He arrived shortly thereafter.
Okay. Who requested his presence?
I'm not sure who initially requested, but I always make sure that the coroner has been notified.
Okay. Why is that important? What's the coroner doing?
It's required by law. First, that I am in charge of the crime scene, or the investigating officer is, but the coroner is in charge of the victim. The deceased victim, the body is the coroner's, for lack of a better, bailiwick. That's his area.
Okay. Okay. Who pronounces the victim, the body? Who pronounces that dead? Do you have knowledge of that?
The coroner does.
The coroner does. Okay. So until, and I'm asking you a question here, until the coroner pronounces the body dead, can you initiate a murder investigation?
But initially, it's a death investigation.
Okay.
Until the coroner or the medical examiner determines the nature and the cause of death.
Okay. So at the point in time when you're standing there and you're making these observations, which you've been describing to the jury about the house and about the body, what type of investigation is that at this point in time?
It's a death investigation leaning towards a murder investigation.
Okay. Why leaning towards murder?
Just from the victim being bound, the house being on fire or set on fire, what appears to be a gunshot wound to the head. With his hands bound, it could not have been self-inflicted, in my opinion. So at that point in time, I'm leaning towards a murder investigation.
Okay. At that point in time, you're still on the scene. You're looking at this body. You've stated that you're leaning towards a murder investigation. Do you have any suspects at this point in time?
I had the troopers and some more detectives do a neighborhood canvass. That's where we send troopers and detectives out, talk to neighbors, and see if any of them seen or heard anything, talk to family members, see if they know anything.
Prior to that, though, prior to the campus, the neighborhood campus, when you're still inside, did you have a suspect at that time?
No.
Okay. Is there anything else concerning, right now we're just talking about your perception, your description of the scene at 148 Kelly Street, Everett, Kentucky on February 18th, 2013. Is there anything else concerning the scene at this point in time that you want to talk about?
In the bedroom, which is adjacent to the safe room, I discover a strong box. It's open. The keys are on the bed. Appears to be a fire sitting there because there was a pants rack with some polyester pants, and the polyester pants were melted to the clothes rack, but there was no fire trail going into that room. So that kind of indicated to me there was a second or a third fire, because you have the fire in the living room, no trail going into the safe room. There's a fire in there, and there's no trail going into the bedroom, and there's a fire in there. So there, in my experience from investigating crimes, it appears to at least been 3 fires, but I contacted a state police arson investigator who was coming to the scene to assist me as far as the arson investigation goes.
Okay. Just briefly, what is arson?
It's a burning of a structure, dwelling, building, intentionally.
Okay, so at this point in time, based upon your observations then, did it appear to you that the fires that you've been talking about at various times throughout your testimony, did it appear to you that they had been intentionally set?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your Honor, may we approach?
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's stop the trial coverage for the night, and we'll come back to that point tomorrow and continue with Detective Cornett and go on from there. I was getting ready to answer a couple of questions via chat, and the video ended, so let's go ahead and get a couple of those questions knocked out here. I saw someone ask about SA. There was no SA. The sex that was taking place, that had taken place, and they go over this in bench conferences later, was consensual. So there was no sexual assault or SA. Sorry, trigger warning.
Ow.
But no, that wasn't part of the trial. Sorry about this light back there. I don't know how to do anything about that, but here's my beautiful wife. Please be respectful, and mods, please watch for trolls coming in here under fake names like Josh Skanks, anything close to that. Anyway, so her feelings were hurt pretty bad today. She's not blind. She's not deaf. She hears things. She hears what goes on. So she wants to address the friendly folks in here. And I think the king of the streets. That's Jamie's.
That's the only person that I want to talk to is Jamie.
They're saying hello, babe.
Hello, guys. Jamie is who I want to talk to. So, Jamie, you've been talking about me pretty much all day. Well, for one, I'm perfectly okay where you were talking about the bedroom. I'm good. I've been with my husband for 32 years. Have you kept a woman that long? I don't think so, because I'm pretty sure you're by yourself. Another thing, Jamie, let's just say this. The tip of your pinky isn't the man that my husband is. And Jamie, when's the last time you seen it? About bet you have to pick the belly up. So the next time you want to talk about me, just remember something, little man. I don't want none of you. And there's a reason there's no woman with you, because I've been happily married for 32 years. And I promise you, he's a man. And that's why I'm still here. So, little boy, you just stay on your little porch and keep calling everybody an F and a GF or whatever you want to say with your little bad words, because that's what little boys do. They use bad words because they think they're bad when they're really not. They just know bad words. And you talk about my husband not wanting to fight Ernie. Well, oh my goodness, you're in the same town as him and you're big and bad. But I don't see you doing anything about Ernie. No. You're at home on in front of a computer saying, F him, F him, F him, F him. I'm sorry, little boy, but you're just a little bitty boy with a little bitty boy. Okay. So please don't come here, because I'm 4'11". I'm bipolar. Oh, yeah, and I'm a redneck. So I might be really nice on here, But if you come here, it won't be Jimbo that you'll have to worry about. It's the psycho who lives in the house. So please keep your little bitty boy wherever you are, because the real man is right here. And I promise you, he's kept me happy for 32 years. But who's alone? Who don't have nobody? The little bitty boy. And that's all I have to say. And I'm sorry that I came on here tonight and I had to act like this. But I'm so tired of people trying to say stuff. Oh, yeah. And you said something about threesomes. So I'm sorry that I'm going to have to say this too. But yes, we had threesomes. My husband satisfied something in mine. And let me tell you something. It wasn't men. Because I'm bisexual. I like women. And I wanted my husband to have a threesome with a girl. Not just one girl, but a bunch of girls. And they're pretty too. Girls that wouldn't even look at you, I promise. So you keep your nappy little boy at home. Thank you, guys. I'll see you Saturday. Bye, baby.
She would not tell me what she was going to say. You forgot your glasses.
Oh.
She would not tell me what she was going to say. And she wouldn't have it any other way than to come on here. So, and Mama wanted to say something, so I let her say it. So there. Sure, Jamie's gonna cut that and play it and use it for content. He needs it. He needs that content. He needs it so bad. So, man, the charger thing isn't picking up. Give me a second. There we go. Maybe that'll stay. Right. Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you all for being here. Does anybody want to talk about what we saw in the trial so far? Oh, let's get Arkansas. I done got a little drunk on a Tuesday and I'm digging it. Arkansas. Yeah, that was a pretty good mic drop. She wouldn't tell me what she was going to say. So, and also, like, she's my wife and I'm not going to tell her no. If she wants to say something, she's grown. She can say it. Thank you. Oh, goodness. All right. Thank you. Throw me some hearts up for Mama C, my beautiful wife. And she is amazing, Jenny Penny. Thank you. She is amazing. You know, she made a mistake and she owned it. She actually told me about it. You know, and came to me and begged for my forgiveness and was afraid she was going to lose her family over it. And honestly, it was tough. It was tough. I mean, I forgave her right away, but it was hard to get through. But, you know, after a few years, we got through it. We got through it together. So, and now here we are. People can say what they want to say. That's my wife and I love her and I don't really care what they say. No, I didn't see that, Elizabeth. I did not see that. Did he specify who? Or did he just say someone? There you go. Who knows? That's exactly right. It's not how you get up, or it's not how you get up, or it's how you get up, not how you fall. That's exactly right. Thank you for all the hearts. And I love my whole family. Like, you know, I'm not going to let anybody hurt my family or, you know, and that's why I got so upset today. But I'm expecting a big day on YouTube tomorrow, but I'm going to just ignore it. And I'll see you guys here tomorrow for more trial coverage. Now, if I put in the description of the channel, of the chat tomorrow or the live tomorrow, that something about somebody else, you know, we're going to have 400 or 500 people in here. but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to clickbait. I'm not going to stoop to that. I don't need to. Whoever wants to be here can be here. And that's just groovy with me. There's an old word. Anybody got anything you want to talk about on the trial that we've seen so far? Arkansas, Sean Aslinger won the book. But we may do that once a week. We may do that maybe every Tuesday. Have a little fun with it. For me, it spreads out, my book, and lets people see that part of my life. And I had a lot of fun during those times, and there's some fun stories in there. You can hear cops and all. I don't know. Hopefully, whoever it was is okay. No, trial's not over. We can't go over the whole thing tonight. It's 12:40 a.m. Oh. Did they have proof it was Shelby that had relations with Ronnie? Text messages, phone calls, anything? No, they didn't. They didn't. What they had was, and the reason why they called it consensual, and you'll see that in the trial eventually, it comes out, but it was there was spermicidal lubrication. So, and I've been told that is from a condom. So, Miss Lee, looking forward to more trial chat and at the stand. Actually, Jimbo, you may be surprised. Lots of people want real true crime, not drama. Let the word get around. It'll pick up. Good stuff. Yeah, that's cool. And we didn't start out this channel honestly to be true crime, but I'm starting to like it. Starting to have fun, and not just with the Shelby thing, but like this Casey Anthony trial is something I followed that from the beginning, before I got a nose itch. Before they found little Kaylee, like the DNA, Miss Lee, that they found doesn't match anybody that was, that they had any suspicions of that I know of. Like, they don't have a match for the DNA. It wasn't a match for Shelby. So, but it doesn't appear that actually happened. Like, and in the story that Shelby told, and Ernie, I don't know if Ernie actually said it in his in the on the stand, the witness stand, or if it was just in his statement to the police. But I believe he said that Shelby told him that he tricked him into getting on the bed, pulled down everything, and then pulled out a gun. It comes out in the trial that Ronnie was laying on the bed and fired a shot at Shelby, supposedly, allegedly. But you'll see all that. You'll see all that in the trial. Oh my goodness, Sean, have another missing person in Harlan? Let's make 6 or 8, maybe more. Something isn't right. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is bad. What age, Sean? Do you know? But yeah, we're going to start doing some true crime. I mean, hey, let's do it. Put 1 in the chat if you want to see us do true crime. If you don't, we won't. I just think it's pretty cool. I've actually, I didn't set out to do it. I wasn't really versed in it. I didn't understand what it was about on YouTube. Now I'm starting to see that, and I kind of enjoy it. So thank you, Jimbo, for tonight. Jimbo, tonight was a blast. Many nights to come. A lot of people want the real true crime community back. I love to see you smiling again, chat, laughing, cutting up. Good deal. 1. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Elizabeth Lander gunshot wound was self-inflicted. I don't know. Have you said who it was or anything, Elizabeth? People go missing in Harlan all the time because cell reception sucks. Oh goodness, it's funny. So yeah, let's do some true crime. Let's do it. We'll do this. We'll get. I know it's true crime, but we didn't start this channel on Shelby Shell, Miss Lee. It's something we are covering, and like I have more videos. I don't understand the thing. Well, you don't have no content either. I've got a lot of videos that he took his phone and because he doesn't know how to do, actually clip a video, he took his phone and recorded it and he's doing all this. But yeah, I've got a lot of videos, a lot of Ernie videos. I've got videos of my children. And those are the ones that are made for everybody, not just 18 and over. Why was Cornett allowed at prosecutor's table? Because he's the lead investigator, I guess. I don't know. Who knows? We are true crime junkies, Jimbo. Well, good. I didn't say you laughed, Elizabeth. I don't know who did, but I don't know. You didn't say who's been shot. I don't know. You said Xander said it. When did he say it? Honestly, I don't ever watch Predator Hunter Nation for any reason. I don't, no interest whatsoever. They can do what they got to do. They can post their own videos and do their own thing. So can Ernie. I don't follow him either. Everything I have on him's original. I don't need his I don't need to stream his content. Also, to lay his head on a pillow, let's see. Also, to lay his head on a pillow is different too, huh? Great job, Jimbo. Stay true, and God will pull you through the stand in Mississippi. To lay his head on a pillow, I don't know. When you can see, if you saw the crime scene photos, he's laying on the floor at the time, I guess, when he's shot. The pillow's laying next to him on the floor. There may be a pillow under his head. I'd have to go look, and I don't want to do that. I might look at it later and just for verification and come back with it tomorrow. But it's really disgusting. It's really disgusting and disturbing. But the pillow that there was a bullet hole through and ballistics and all that stuff is laying next to him. So he was shot and the pillow was laying next to him. Well, was there a bed in the safe room? No, there was not. It was, I don't think. I know the room where he was found, there was no bed. I don't know if that was a safe room or not. Did he say he was found in the safe room? I don't remember. Gosh. So I wouldn't win a memory test either, guys. So there you go. Yeah, I don't know whose channel they're talking about. Who knows? We can mix it up, all different things. Days we can keep going good, and right away we're really looking right way, really looking forward to it all, or to it not to it all. Okay. The stand. Why is it telling me I can't get all notification? Because it's kids YouTube. I don't know why I would say that you can't get all notifications. Honestly, maybe it's because I have some that are that videos are not made for only 18 and over, but that don't make sense because before I accidentally didn't have everything set for 18 and over, and I had to go back and reset it and do all that. So I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Good night, Angela Green. Thank you for being a supporter and thank you for coming in. Sandy says, what do you think? He said what? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what she's talking about either, Jenny Penny. I'm lost. Jimbo, your sincerity. This is from Jotty Thompson. Jimbo, your sincerity and Mrs. C shine through. Very heartwarming to actually see the way a loving marriage perseveres. Thank you for giving credit to God working in your life. And thank you. Thank you for recognizing that. And it was a touch from God. I really believe that pulled us through those times. Like it, I mean, we're through it now, and I'm over it. It destroyed me. It literally destroyed me. Um, it was the worst. It was awful. But I'm over it. We've got through it, and hey, she asked me to forgive her, and I love her more than I love myself, more than I love the breath that I take. So, um, she is one with me in marriage. So yes, I forgave her, and I truly forgive her. Like it's not well, okay. I have to forgive you because God says so. I truly forgive her. Oh, when I pondered if King was found in the safe room. It's safe room. Yeah, safe room. The safe room actually had the safe in it, I guess, but maybe that was his bedroom. I don't remember. There was two rooms there when you first come in the door, according to Cornett. One was an office room they called. Maybe that was a safe room. Maybe the safe was in the bedroom. I don't know. I would think though he would call bedroom the bedroom instead of a safe room. I don't know. Oh, Britt's a Molly fan. I'm going to tell her that one of her fans spoke up. Thank you, Britt. I appreciate that. And Miss Molly will be tickled to death to hear it. Hello, Michelle Hancock. How are you? Yes, I've made a choice to make it work. Mama Steph, no marriage is perfect. It takes work. You two seem to put in that work. Thank you. Thank you so much. And, there was a lot of work put into it, especially then. It's a lot easier now. Like it just flows, Um, who knows is a Molly fan? Well, thank you. I think Cornett said he was found in the safe room, not bedroom. Okay, then that would be the office. The office / safe room. Cornett calls it the safe room. Somebody else refers to it as an office. I think maybe the coroner, Bianchi. I think later on he calls it the office or refers to it as the office. You'll see. And this right here will tickle Molly pink with the rainbow flag. We need a Molly sticker. We have enough. We have enough actual like members now. I think I can add more. I'm almost positive I can add more custom emojis. So I'll make us a Molly emoji. Thank you, Jotty. Thank you. Snark Sister says there was a safe room he was found in, and then there was also another safe in the bedroom. There you go. There's somebody really paying attention. I didn't know that. And you'd think if I pulled off this murder like 777 said, that I would know that. Goodness gracious, what's wrong with me? Somebody called it a computer room. Okay. Marriage is work just like anything else. It is. It really is. I thought someone. Oh, Elizabeth, I thought you said someone streamed it on YouTube. Oh gosh. Hope not. Hope not. That's a nasty thing. Somebody doing that to themselves. Oh, there you go, Molly. Let me I'm going to take a picture of that just to show Molly because I don't want her to watch this live stream. There you go. Let me get a picture of this chat over here too. You guys are just killing it tonight. Oh, Molly's gonna love this. Thank you all so much. Gwen, I tried to join but forgot my password. I'll try it tomorrow. That's okay, Gwen. I have to keep all my passwords in my notes on my phone. If anybody ever breaks into my phone, they got me. They got everything they want to get into. There we go. We got more Molly stuff coming up. Listen, look at you guys. You're just killing it. I'm taking some more pictures. Oh. Okay. More questions about anything we've seen tonight in the trial? People saying that garbage are really pathetic. They don't have nothing better to do than bash innocent people. Yeah, I get you, Sean. I know. Look at all these flags. I will block out Sean so she doesn't see that and ask me, what are you talking about? Look at you guys. Look at all these. Look at Gene Penny. Oh my goodness, you guys are killing me. I love it. Molly's gonna love it. Oh, mom of two. Look at you. Lobo, goodness gracious. I might hang on a second and see if we get any more before I start taking more pictures. Oh, you guys are so genuine and you're just tickling me to death tonight. Viking Media, how you doing? How are you? I hope you didn't miss all the good stuff tonight. We just went over like maybe 2 hours worth of trial. We're at 3 hours in, so I'd say we did get 2 hours worth of trial. Thank you, Love and Grace. I will tell her that. I'll go back in the chat and I'm just going to record like a screen record and show her all this, and then show it to her. And I'm, what in the world? Somebody sending me text messages now, junk. Some of them are real, some of them are junk. So is the woman Ernie is going to be what? Yeah, this actually, Elizabeth Lander, this may be the wrong chat for you. I mean, you're welcome to stay, but there's not a discussion about Ernie or Tina or Xander going on here. Yeah, so you had a great live today. That's good, Viking Media. That's good. But yeah, you may be in the wrong place. And I'm not trying to run you off. You're welcome to stay, but like the things you're talking about, we're not talking about. We're talking about the Shelby Shell trial right now, and that's what we're going to cover. And you guys, do you know, like, I'll think for a second and pause and I talk. I do that pretty much all the time, like I just now did it, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you've noticed that. That's one of my mannerisms. I kind of pause and, gather my thoughts and then speak. It's kind of what I do. It's kind of how I've always spoke. Even when I coach, that's kind of how I do it. So I briefly saw old King of the Streets in his thing earlier talking about how I was pausing because I was lying. Oh, so if I'm pausing, I'm lying. Yeah. Oh, goodness. So there's that. Thank you for all the ones, by the way. Keep all slanderous texts for proof. I'm going to. I don't delete any text ever. I've got text for years. I've got texts from Shelby Shell's wife right after the murder. And I don't want to bring this lady into anything, and I'm not going to. Because like I said, she's been, abused enough. So, yeah, right. God forbid you think before you speak. What a concept. Right. Oh, goodness. I love hanging out with you guys. It's getting late. So tomorrow we're going to start at 10 o'clock again. We'll go over the trial. There's a possibility if he doesn't have anything going on that Josh from the lab may come in and co-host. And one of my other friends may come in and help co-host too, if he wants to. But we'll see. But definitely I'll be here tomorrow at 10 o'clock. There's another pause. I must be lying. No, I'll be here at 10 o'clock. And I'm going to try to get through today, tomorrow. I know you guys are there's going to be a lot of messages sent to me tomorrow, and that's fine. Come here, CB. Come here, buddy. Look at my little buddy. This is my little buddy. This is the meanest dog I got right here. He's meaner than all them 120, 130 pounders, ain't you, buddy? Huh? Mm-hmm. Jenny Penny, you think your dog's pretty? Look at my doggy. Okay. But anyway, we'll be here tomorrow at 10 o'clock. We'll go over the trial. We're going to leave. We're going to start where we left off at the bench conference right after they, when they want to approach during Detective Cornett's first. What are you looking at? Detective Cornett's first time on the stand. He takes a stand a lot in this trial. I would say Detective Cornett is the lead witness for the prosecution. So tomorrow, 10 p.m. Love you guys so much. Appreciate all the support. As always, you guys are awesome. And you guys have had my back all day. Tomorrow, I'm going to try not to respond. You want down, buddy? You want to get down? Okay, go ahead. I'm going to try not to respond. I'm just going to let them run with it, do all they want to do. But good night to everybody. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Mama C says good night, everybody. CB's barking like crazy. All right. Good night. See you guys tomorrow at 10 p.m., I hope. He's still barking. I am Jimbo, and I'm coming to you live from the stand. Good night.